Hi, this is a lesson in A Course in Miracles, lesson 135. It says, if I defend myself, I am attacked. If I defend myself, I am attacked. So this says, who would defend himself unless he thought he were attacked, that the attack were real, and that his own defense could save himself? So I'm just going to read a couple things so I can sit somewhere else instead of at this screen, because my book's at home. So hold on. This is all about operating from a place of fear. That's what it boils down to. So, and that there's threats all around us, and that we're constantly on guard and ready to defend the self. But what are we defending? Something that we must think is really weak, right? We only defend what we think is inherently weak. And so that's a false premise. When you realize, wait a minute, I'm not this thing, whatever I'm defending, it's an illusion. It's this false weakness. From what? What is it? What is the threat? Where's the fear coming from? And it's just, oh, I lost it. Oh man, this thing is so long. Okay, it says a healed mind does not plan, because also what it talks about is defending is also planning. So you're planning for every possibility, every eventual outcome. You're kind of that hypervigilance, where you're like, okay, I got to make sure everything, I got to feel safe wherever I am. So I'm keeping tabs on everything. It's like the mind is just exhausted by that. I got to just make sure everything goes as planned. But it says a healed mind does not plan. It doesn't need to. It can respond appropriately in this moment, in this moment, in this moment, because it's not on guard, defending. It's not in fear. It doesn't perceive threats everywhere. So there's also, I think, a lot of nervous system healing that just goes along with this. Maybe I won't sit somewhere else. Because it's like easier said than done, right? So I think about, well, yeah, I want to get to that point where I don't perceive everything as a threat. And you can't really just think yourself into a new way of like being when the nervous system is kind of the one in charge, right? The nervous system is like, oh. So more thinking is not going to get us out of that hypervigilant state. Yet, what will is just acknowledging, like feeling into what are those sensations? Where do we feel them in the body? Give them a voice, give them a witness, so that you're like, okay, I see you. Let's just pause. Let's feel that. Is there a threat here? By slowing things down, it just brings a different type of awareness to that whole thing, and then things start to dissipate. And maybe the first step for some people, instead of coming into the nervous system part of it, is more of this, like this lesson is saying, it's all this book has to deal with is thoughts anyway, because we're reading text on a page, so it's coming at it from the view of thoughts. So some people, we could come at it from, if I defend myself, I am attacked. We can come at it logically. This is a very logical lesson. Okay, well, I don't first have to defend anything if I don't first feel threatened, attacked. And logically, we might think, well, yeah, I'm fine. There's no threat here. And that might be the way for people to be like, oh, okay, I can come off the ledge. And some people, it's like my brain just adding more thoughts to it. It's not going to reverse the way my nervous system feels. So give the nervous system a witness. Feel the sensations. As hard as they might be, you might not be able to breathe. You might just feel constricted. Who knows? It shows up differently for all of us. And then it can start to dissipate or melt or change in some way. So I really like this lesson as long as it was. They put so many words to this. I think just so that all the different brains reading this can latch onto something, perhaps. Something in one of the many, many, many words. So if I defend myself, I am attacked. So I think what that does for me, the way it resonates with me, like how I'll take this forward, is when I feel those stories, for me, attack and defense come in the form of like stories, like when I'm in the shower and my my mind will be like, sometimes I'll come back and I'll be like, what happened? I just told a whole story. I just told like 10 stories, and where did the time go? And all the while my body is doing what it knows to do, washing the arm, doing the shampoo. And all the while I am not there. I am off like storyland sometimes. And it doesn't happen as much. Well, now it still happens, but I like catch it faster. But it reminds me that that's usually when those stories come in, like I'm planning for the day without trying. That's the hard part. It just does it. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I just created a whole story there that is not true. It's like not in my physical reality. Never was, never will be. And yet my brain is trying to account for every eventual outcome for the day, for the week, whatever. Oh, it's crazy up in here. So that's how I take this, is when I stop and recognize this, like, wait a minute, I'm armoring up. I'm coming to defense of myself, and I'm not even attacked. There's no threat here. Isn't that weird? It's like patterns, until we heal the other stuff. So anyway, that's what I have for lesson 135. Thanks. Bye.